We are going to be going live on Facebook right now. You can start to see, for those of you that have activated your video, if you pull up the Facebook feed, just go into the Real Estate Agent Roundtable, and you'll start to see all of your little faces popping up, about 20 seconds delayed, and there's a lot of you. I think we've got 75 people coming onto this, so it's kind of cool. It looks like it's like a really extended Brady Bunch family, or Hollywood Squares, but as you're starting to see. So go into the Real Estate Agent Roundtable. It's pretty fun if you haven't. Go into the Real Estate Agent Roundtable Facebook group, and then you'll see this posting live with about a 20-25 second delay on it, which is pretty neat. Again, I've got you all muted right now. And I'm going to kind of explain the rules. Obviously, with so many of us out there, it's going to be hard for us all to talk at once. And I know we've got a lot of real estate agents on here. So because of that, we're all pretty good at talking. So I thought I would take the mic to kind of start it out and lay out the ground rules. I see so many friends coming on here, people I've known, coached, worked with forever, coming on from all over North America too, which is cool. And I think that's one thing to really remember here. We are all from North America, right? So we all have different local things we're going through here. We have different local opinions on how things should go. So let's try to be diplomatic. I mean, I think that's a really good point to make in general right now is we as leaders in our community, by way of communication, because I do believe real estate agents are the best positioned to be leaders by way of communication, and you should be, especially right now with everybody watching, listening at home, to you and what you put out there on social media and digital content. How you present yourself is how you're going to be perceived right now. And trust me, you want to be very diplomatic, very neutral in the way that you approach, because there are very strong feelings out there. There's political, and there's people that know people. There's people now that know people that are sick, and have even died. So it is very important that we treat this with a certain level of appropriateness. And that we become leaders via communication that provides hope and positivity out there, and that would be modeled here in this town hall discussion that we're doing. And I hope that this town hall actually is something that you guys model for your people. That's one thing I want you to get from this is, we are in a game of contacts, right? Where we're trying to stay in front of our people and be consistent and be present during this time. And we always are, right? We're always trying to put ourselves out there and add value to our people and come from contribution. Well, this vehicle, this town hall setting that we're doing through Zoom to a live Facebook Live is a way you can do it. It's a way to get your people together and have discussions, whether it's moms homeschooling together and different things they can do to homeschool, or different ideas that you're doing with the family at these times, or question and answer sessions about local community resources during these times. And quite frankly, on into the future, I mean, there's a good chance this is the new world order that we're going to be dealing with, where this is how we communicate primarily. A lot of things are not going to go back to the norm. So I think you're going to see the fact that you're here, the fact that you're participating, the fact that you're logged in, kind of shows that I'm preaching to the choir. But I think we get used to these formats, and this is not a tough format. If you get comfortable with Zoom, you get comfortable with Facebook Live, those two, they marry together really nicely as they're doing right now. So a couple things. Okay, so like I said, for you guys that are participating in this Zoom conference right now, in other words, your faces are on the screen, you can actually enter comments into the chat room on the sides. On the right-hand side, you can see a large group chat if you want to enable it at the bottom by clicking on chat. So to the side, we can actually communicate with each other while you're muted. So if you guys do have really good ideas you want to come up with or things that we're going to talk about here in a minute, please let me know so I can unmute you down the side so we're not talking over each other. So check out that group chat on the side. In addition to that, we are going to be, at the very end of this, for those of you that are watching on Facebook, we will be posting all the places where you can get in touch with us, including the courses, how to subscribe to our newsletters, where to reach us, coaches, all in the comments. So we're going to be putting that all in those comments along the side on both Facebook and also in the Zoom group chat off to the side as well too. I know that they wanted me to tell you is that, all right? So that's going to be ideas. A couple other ground rules I want you to say, right? I want to make sure I get out there as well too. Number one, in this environment, no matter where you live, I want to make sure that we're all being safe. Okay, that's number one. Okay, we're going to talk about how to lead generate right now, and I don't want that to get lost. Right now, I want you all to be very, very safe first and foremost. So you're going to do what's appropriate in your local area, and we're going to try to stay in compliance with local, city, state, even federal laws with regards to what we're allowed to do as real estate professionals in this environment. That's number one. Number two, I think I talked about that earlier. I want you to be appropriate. Okay. So again, this is a very serious issue with very serious times that quite frankly on a social level are just unprecedented. So what we say out there needs to be appropriate. Okay, if we're going to be the voice of our profession and we're going to get out there, you need to think really, really clearly about being angry, about being upset. I get it. No one likes to be trapped at home, but no one wants to hear you whine publicly either. So please try to be a leader, right? And let's don't criticize too many people without really being careful. I know you got free speech. I know you got religious views. I get all that. Right now, be careful not to alienate people, okay? Be careful, be diplomatic, walk a vanilla line in the public, because now 4 times as many people are on Facebook than they have been in the past, right? Everyone's watching you now. People are getting, my mom's getting on Facebook, right? So be very, very careful with what you put out there. Try to be vanilla so you don't alienate an entire group of the population that might want to use you someday in real estate. And by the way, why not? Why do we need to make anybody more upset right now than we already are, right? The other thing I would say is be present and be consistent. You need to be out in front of people right now, right? If you do business by shaking hands in the community, not a good time for you. May not be a good year for you. May not be a good 2 years for you. Because in all likelihood, there is going to be a lot of social discomfort out there with regards to a lot of face-to-face conversation. We are moving into a digital world. It is time to embrace it. So you need to be consistent on it and get comfortable and use this event as what's forcing you to get there, right? Number 3, everybody's in different, or number 4, everybody's in different positions right now with when they generate business, right? If we generate business right now, some of you are going to have a lot more difficulty than others in working with it, in handling it. Regardless, all of us can say one thing: we can pipeline business for later. Does that make sense? So the activities that we do today in real estate never really are the business we have today, right? If we're working with our sphere of influence, which is 80% of all business in North America is done with an agent someone knows, or someone that knows an agent that's referred by someone they know, right? So they meet through a referral situation. Either way, we call that sphere of influence, or SOI. Some parts of the country will call that COI, right? So because of that, we're always staying in front of them. We're always being consistent, and we're always being first of mind with those people and trying to add value and from contribution to them. Very rarely does that amount to business right now. Typically, we're laying groundwork for business later. I mean, certainly we do that in October, right? Anybody we meet in October, oftentimes they want to delay transacting business till after the holidays towards spring. Okay, so we pipeline them, we nurture them, we stay in contact, we stay consistent, we try to add value until they're ready after the holidays, closer to spring. Maybe it's earlier, maybe it's not. That's the same mindset we have to have right now, and that's that building a pipeline mindset, right? We can't go into panic mode. We're supposed to be the leaders of our community. So if we're just worried about how we're handling our business and how we navigate showings and about what morons other agents are, man, get out of this thing. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want a bunch of whiners complaining about all the other agents, because every agent I know is complaining about other agents. Every agent I know is complaining about how they're not behaving ethically or properly, and they just sit around and whine and whine and whine and whine. Guess what they're not doing? They're not trying to get business. They're not pipelining. They're not staying positive. They're poisoning their mind. And that is tough to do in this frustrating environment, right? I mean, my wife's in the other room right now trying to homeschool kids, and then it's my turn here in a little bit. We're all doing stuff like that is just, routine busters right now that are terribly, terribly frustrating. So it's very important that we keep that in mind, right? And this is the last bit before we start talking here. For those of you that don't know, generally speaking, I don't know who's trained you or who you've worked with in the past. One of the things we teach at Icenhower Coaching and Consulting is we stay in contact with our sphere of influence over the course of a year by putting them through some sort of annual database contact plan where we're staying in front of them 40 times a year. And that's a combination of social media engagements, text messages, phone calls, emails, mailers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these different ways we can stay in front of them, right? And then at the end of the year, once we've contacted them for 40 times in a year, and we keep doing that every single year and they've become saturated, we expect a 7-to-1 return back on that, right? So that means if you've got 300 people in your database and you do stay in front of them with those 40 touches every single year, that means if we take those 300 people, divide it by 7, we can anticipate 43 closed transactions from those 300 and the people they refer us to, right? Now, a lot of people have a hard time believing that, but a lot of people have a hard time doing that. We've never seen it fail when people do it, but I've seen a lot of people not do it. And usually because they get sidetracked by life, and boy, is that easy to do right now. But never has it been easier than to come with a message for them than right now. I mean, it is so easy to talk about stuff. There is so much information that we can share with them. So if we're in a scenario where you're gonna, add value to your local community, just scroll down the Real Estate Agent Roundtable Facebook group. Look at all the different content you could be sharing, from SBA loan applications to news that you don't have to file your taxes for 3 months late. All that information, where, which grocery stores are offering senior citizen discounts, where, all the different restaurants in your area that are offering delivery and curbside pickup. Those are things you can do to get the word out to help people. If your school districts are canceling, or they have homeschools, or maybe the best homeschooling online websites, things like that actually people need right now, they appreciate, and it helps, and it establishes you as a local community leader if you can do it, okay? Also, getting the word out that we can work virtually is a good idea, subtly, right? We got to be appropriate, but we are all seeing now, I think it's pretty well established, that we can do virtual listings, virtual buyer consults, virtual showings, where agents do not have to go into homes to show property anymore. That is rapidly evolving. We're seeing it with all of our clients. Inman News even did a feature on it, and it's starting to get adapted quickly. Heck, if this keeps going, that might be the new way to show properties across the country. So the idea that we have to shelter in place and can't handle business right now is, quite frankly, ridiculous, traditional, and old-fashioned, and that has been proven 20 times over. And we see it all over the place. Now, again, there are a lot of agents that want to cut the corners and show property and get face-to-face, and that's not a good idea. And that's not something anyone is encouraging right now, unless you're permitted to in your area as an essential service, and there are no more strict city or county guidelines imposed on you. Okay, so what I'm asking from you guys is for ideas, and I've got quite a few of them. I'm looking for ideas that we can use for the next half hour, because we've got about 30 minutes left of this, that we can use to stay in front of our people. What can we do to help? I gave you a few right there. What can we do to reach out and call our people to help them with? What can we do to post on social media? What can we do to email them? How can we come from contribution so that we can add value back and help people? What are things we can do? I'm looking for ideas. And if someone wants to unmute themselves, we can try that.
I've got an idea for you, Brian.
Sure. Tammy, go for it.
We just posted a virtual cafe, and what we're going to be doing is something similar to this, where we are going to be having a conversation with other industries that we think are important for other people to know about. So for one, we're going to be interviewing a CPA to talk about what's happening with the changes with the bill that was, or with everything that's happened. We have a day that we're going to be talking to lenders about all the changes that have happened in the lending environment. We have a day we're talking to a travel agent about, is it a good time to take advantage of these fairs, and when is it a good time, and should you have travel insurance and that sort of thing. So it's going to be a Zoom call that will then be posted obviously to Facebook. So we're going to consistently interview industries.
Okay, so you're going to do it similar to this. This is
Very
going to be, yeah, very similar. Good. And that's something I recommend, guys, is get used to this format. You're going to see it a lot now. It's a way to get people together to talk. And I think that's a great add value. What else could you do other than accountant? What else? How about insurance? I would think insurance would have a lot to cover.
Yep, we had insurance on the list. I don't have that list in front of me. If I can find it here in a second, I'll throw those names out at you.
I think it'd be cool to get someone. I know Chuck Hill's on here somewhere. There you are, Chuck. You had someone from the Small Business Association talk in a group the other day, didn't you? Or you're about to?
Yeah, no, we did it actually a couple of days ago. It was great. We had Corey Williams, who's our local disaster emergency relief person for a small business administration. And he was great. He came on. We had a group of about 25, 30 people on a Zoom call just like this. And it was fantastic. And
that's great.
That's what it was, heartwarming and fulfilling and good, to do that, to bring that information to everybody. But also, it's amazing how the word spreads, and how I've gotten really interesting calls from people that I haven't talked to in a long time, and it's kind of building and becoming something pretty cool, and it feels good. And to your point, now is not a fun time, but what an amazing time to be connecting with people. Everybody wants to talk to somebody.
Someone else help me on that. Does everybody have a local small, I don't know this. Is there like a local small business association like for each county? Is that how it works? They're around, so.
This guy has a large kind of the whole central, even, over in the Central Valley area. I'll put his information in the chat.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, yeah.
One of the other persons that we are doing on this list here was, we're going to take a high school counselor from the school district here. So it's very local, but just talk about what their thoughts are for helping students get through this time.
That's excellent. Yeah, I think kids at home presents the largest quandary for people right now. That is, maybe I'm just speaking out loud. I know there's definitely a lot of issues and ways you can help people there too. So I think that's a great idea. I love that one. I know, just encouraging, I know my wife did it. My wife sells real estate, and she got 30 of her friends together on this format. Didn't go live on Facebook, but they had start a little book club, and they have a glass of wine and kind of catch up, and they all talk. And there's no way you're going to get these girls together. There's just too many of them. Half of them work, have kids, but at least she's staying in front of those people and talking with them, and she's getting a little social exposure as well too. And it gives her a little bit of balance. So, you encouraging those types of groups right now, if you're a face-to-face person and a belly-to-belly person, which a lot of people are, it can be done this way. It's the next best thing, and you're going to find you don't have to wear pants. And you can also more or less, schedule anytime you want. It's much more convenient. So I like that. The one I'm seeing a lot of is that homeschooling mastermind, different ideas for homeschooling. What are you doing with your kids? Things like that. If you got people with kids as well, call them virtual hangouts, I think is what people are referring to them as. Oftentimes that's associated with Google Hangouts, which is kind of a competitor here of Zoom. But a virtual hangout is kind of the lingo people are using around these things that kind of helps. So I love that, Cammie. That's a really good one. And Chuck, thank you for that help on that. Anybody else have any thoughts, ideas about this? Different ways that they're stepping up in front of their local communities? I see Audra. Are you there? I saw Audra raised a hand. I'm not even sure what Audra raised a hand means, but I just got to notice that she raised a hand. And I also see, Audra, can you talk?
Yep, can you hear me?
I can, thank you. Yeah, we can't see you, but I don't think you want us to. I think you're gonna be radio.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do radio because I'm driving in my car from meeting new photographers. So one of the things that our team is doing is just reaching out, and we're actually gonna do a Zoom video that's recorded with all of our team members. So I'm going to be interviewing them just as a way as a team leader to promote why my agents are on my team and the things that they can do. For example, one of the things you coached about was doing a Zoom listing appointment or something like that. So we're going to do some examples on social media, just showing, hey, here's why we have these agents and why they add value to our team and for you as a buyer. So just trying to promote and keep the mentality of the buyer's agents up and excited as well. And
I like that. That's cool, Audra. That is very cool. And you also did something cool that I want, Anissa, can you help me? She raised her hand. I have no idea how you raise your hand. That's a new one to me. All of a sudden, this big message on my screen. We could all probably learn.
Yeah, I have no idea. Full disclosure, sorry.
I don't know how she did that.
Because I'm on my cell phone, so I'm not sure how I did that.
Laura Dimmer raised her hand. Laura, why don't you tell us how you did that first of all?
So on the bottom of the screen, there's the portion that says mute and then stop video. There's another little guy that you can click up, and it says, oh, is that where I found it? Or was it from, no, it's from participants, I'm sorry. So go into that participants section, and then it pulls up a little screen, a box on there, and it says participants 79. And then next to, or at the bottom, it says lower hand or raise hand.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've never, I see that now. I've never actually done. That's excellent. Audra,
I was trying to figure it out too. I'm like, okay.
Audra Heller and Laura Dimmer, like Heller and Dimmers, like Lewis and Clark. Just into the virtual frontier. I love that. Thank you guys. Laura, did you have something you wanted to say, or did you just want to educate us all with that?
No, that was kind of it right now. Thanks.
Hey, that's a takeaway. I actually have a huge takeaway there too. So that's awesome. Thank you, both of you. And I also see Chuck Hill posted that his local SBA guy, he could probably point you into the direction of your local SBA guy. He looks like the field officer for the West, just the West in general. I guess the Western United States there. But yeah, so, getting that SBA guy to get on one of these calls, I'm sure that's what, that would probably make his day, because he's trying to get the word out as much as he can. And if you're able to help him do that, I'm sure that's something he would be really, really excited with. Okay, so other ideas out there. You can raise your hand. You can write in the notes along the right-hand side.
Hey, Brian, I've got something I'd like to share, something that one of my clients is doing. What I've been stressing a lot is we've got to get in front of people on social media. And for this particular client, she's always wanted to do a Facebook group with her local community. And she never has had time, right? Like a lot of things going on right now. And, I've always told her the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. So she started a Facebook group, and she lives in a decent sized town, about 200,000 people, and made a group around people that deliver food, home delivery services, lawn care people, and it's really grown up, right? Just in the past week, it grew from 0 members, because she just started it, to like 1,900 members in 1 week of different businesses and people that come around. And I was on it this week, and it was like, hey, I need a lawnmower, and just a big discussion about people needing people that do lawns and people that deliver food, and who's doing this and who's doing that. It really tied the community together, and it's all driven by that agent. So she comes on there every now and then with a Facebook Live, giving value and everything else. It's a really good idea of something to do to get that business to business culture going.
And that's just a public Facebook group in her local city. She just kind of created.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. And another thing that I have client events are very popular right now. And, of course, we just had St. Patrick's Day. And for this particular type of person, her demographic in her database, they were going to do a happy hour. And she says, what am I supposed to do? Cancel it? I said, absolutely not. We're going to get on a Zoom meeting, and we're going to have a happy hour right now on Zoom with everybody that was going to go to that client event. She had 98 people that showed up to the Zoom call, right? So 98 people she got to interact with, other people got to interact with. They thought it was fun, it was interesting, and something that she was doing. So being innovative right now is about the best thing that you could do for your business, doing things outside the box.
Yep, and that'd be in a format just like this, that she did that St. Patrick's Day happy hour?
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
it's about the cheapest client event you could.
Absolutely, yeah, pretty cheap.
Save some money that way too. Yeah, I'm telling you, this format that you guys are participating in right now, get good at it. It's really, really easy to start this. And just get yourself a Zoom account. If you don't know, you can, Zoom's free, or you can get a pro account. The pro account's going to do anything you guys are going to need. It's about $15 a month, to be honest with you. You don't have to sign a year contract, and you learn how to, it's really, really easy to start Zoom chats, conference calls, record these things. And then it's shockingly easy to go live on Facebook through it. So learning how to get through that is really, really simple. And I think it's going to be a big lead generator. Just this in of itself will probably be your biggest takeaway, is how we can get people together and talk to them like we're doing right now with you guys, is just getting comfortable with Zoom and getting comfortable with a client event that's like this, that's just us together, in the extended Brady Bunch format type of deal, which is cool. Thank you, Brad. That's awesome. Brad coaches with us as well too. So I love that one. Anybody else got any thoughts? I see Beth Ann. Beth Ann, where are you? You had some bit on the SBA too you want to talk about?
Hi. Yeah. So interestingly, my husband actually works for Homeland Security and FEMA.
Wow.
So I've had a lot of misconceptions in my area. People hear that, sorry, I have a cat on my lap. Hi, I'm Puma. A lot of people are asking, about the federally declared, disaster and that sort of thing. And really, I've had to clarify with my clients that it just activates funds. That's really all it does. And so the funds go into, of course, response, and then also the Small Business Administration for, to have the option of giving that money out. And so there should be a Small Business Administration contact. I know ours is in our Jefferson County office. They have signs directing people if you want to apply for funds. So there should be a contact in at least each county office, or maybe several counties if they're smaller counties. But that should be an easy resource, and that could be something we send out. I mean, I've done a lot of the happy hour, that Brad mentioned. I even was going to have a happy hour. I dedicated those funds into a weekly $30 gift certificate giveaway, because I want to support my local businesses and restaurants and everything. So why not just put that happy hour money into something else? So I've been trying to support my, especially the Fed Center here west of Denver, is where about 8,000 federal employees work, from the Small Business Administration, from the FEMA, from DHS, and all sorts of different organizations. So it's kind of a nice connection, having the knowledge, having the connection, having the happy hour, the virtual happy hour. And so I'm trying to write down at least a couple of these ideas so we can do more.
Yeah, I'm with you. In fact, Chuck, thank you for that, Beth Ann. Chuck mentioned in the notes, Zoom happy hours work great. Is that something different than what we're doing, Chuck?
No, I was just kind of emphasizing that what everybody's talking about. We're doing them in the office. I'm doing them with friends. We're doing it with clients.
Okay.
Just maximizing this format. It's so easy to do, and everybody wants to see each other. It works fantastically.
Got it. So I've heard people call it a happy hour. I think I call it a town hall. I just want it to be more formal, governmental. But I think that might be the term I've seen used the most out there for these. And I think getting used to these and as big as possible, like we've said, is awesome. So thank you for that. Anybody else got any? I've got a few as well too that we've got clients doing. Our clients have been doing a bunch of ideas lately. Eric Craig, I saw you on here. I don't know if you're still here or not, but Eric his team is doing a scholarship deal. It's kind of cool. He's like leveraging this ideas, because it's really hard to come up with new ideas on how to help people. So what Eric is doing is he's like leveraging it to children and using child labor as his basis. And the way that they're doing that on their team is they're running a scholarship program to the local school district and saying, hey kids, we know you're home. If, we're going to offer a scholarship and $2,000 prize for first place, $1,000 for second place, maybe 3 $500 prizes for 3 third places for you guys to come up with ideas for the best way that you can help your community safely during this time. So these kids now are having to get creative at home with their parents, thinking up ideas of ways to help the community right now. And then his team then awards them, and it's very possible to get mortgage lenders to partner in this with you, so you're not eating all this money that gets kind of expensive. You know, title and escrow people helping with that. Most places in the country, they can help you with that. Insurance, you know, insurance agents helping you with that. Home warranty people helping you with that, so that you are actually helping out and giving back. And you're doing it through the kids and getting the kids involved as well too. So not only do you give back, you come up with community ideas, you're helping out. Hey, I see Mark Olson. Mark, are you on there? Can you say what you guys are doing? I know you did some really cool stuff for your community about a week ago in Iowa.
We partnered with the local Ben Franklin, which is, you know, if anybody doesn't know, it's kind of like a Dollar General, just a small home kit store. So we partnered with them about a week ago, and if anybody in need of anything, call Ben Franklin, order it, make payment arrangements, and pay from my office, deliver those items to people's doorstep. We've had quite a few people take advantage of that so far. And then last week we rolled out a $19 gift card into COVID-19, just supporting local businesses. So each week, the next several weeks, we're going to do a drawing for a local restaurant in town, and then give somebody a gift card that they can go with some takeout or carry out from the restaurant to support our local businesses.
Very cool. Okay, so I heard 2 things in there. Your audio is a little fuzzy, just for your FYI. But I got it, and I know what you're up to. Mark's in the #1 agent in Nevada and Ames, Iowa, and he and his team are with Remax over there. And what they've done is you partnered with a local grocery store, department store, and are all over Facebook, social media, Instagram, mailers, and emails, getting the word out that whoever's in need, we're partnering with them, and we'll get you supplies, whatever you guys need right now. So if you know someone that owns a store in your local area that can help, it's a way for you both to get some goodwill, both to help people, both to market, get your name out there. Did you guys deliver for them, Mark?
We did, yeah. We've had several deliveries so far. We just drop them off at the doorstep. We won't go in their house. We'll get it to their home so they have it.
Okay, good. Very cool. Okay.
We rolled out this morning. My wife came up with this weekend, but we're try to get, like you said earlier, trying to get kids involved. But we're going to do an Easter egg hunt where the kids are asked to print out a picture of an Easter egg that we give them, color it, hang it outside their house or on their window.
Nice.
And on Saturday, the day before Easter, we're asking parents to drive the kids around, count how many eggs there are around town, and the winner will get a prize from us.
Yeah, that's a big one. And if you guys want to see that, thank you, Mark. I'm happy to hear you're doing that too. That is actually the Danny Byer team's brainchild there, and they were willing to share it with us. And so there is a format for that down in the Real Estate Agent Facebook group. If you just scroll down, you'll see an Easter egg that needs to be colored in. So basically what that is, it's like an Easter egg hunt for a neighborhood, right? So you basically send those out. The kids all color them and put them up on their front door. And since it is okay to be walking around your neighborhood outside, the kids go outside and they count up all the Easter eggs they can find. And then we give prizes for the kids that do a kind of a virtual Easter egg that way. So they color their own Easter egg. And you can throw on there that they got to like you on Facebook. So they got to color their own egg. They got to count the eggs. And then they got to, like you give you a Zillow review or like you on Facebook. If you do those 3 things, then you're in for a prize. So it gives the kids something to do, gives the kids something to do with their parents, gets them outside, gets them some exercise, kind of a nice distraction. And we've had a few agents doing that too. So again, scroll down the news feed of the Real Estate Agent Roundtable, and you will see that that virtual Easter egg hunt program. I know a lot of the agents across the country are kind of copying that one. It's pretty timely right now. Trying to get that one out there. And then you also did something with gift cards too, where you're offering gift cards. That's really popular. Anybody else doing gift cards out there right now of any kind?
Yeah, we are.
Thanks, Jake. Tell me that's right. You were one of the first to get it out there. In fact, I think I copied you.
Yeah, well, what we're doing is we announced that we were going to purchase $5,000 worth of gift cards from local restaurants and small businesses that are shut down during this to kind of help them with the cash flow. And then we'll wait a couple months and give those gift certificates out to people in need, people that were laid off, clients and so forth that could use them. So, and we just, really putting that out on social media, getting a lot of sharing on our posts. And every time we talk about, we promote the business as well. We tag them and try to get pictures with the owner or the people, the staff there, and get it out there, letting people know that they're either open for takeout or talk, about the benefits of their business for when they do reopen.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. Jake and Mark too, actually. You guys have always been on Facebook and social media, don't get me wrong, but I've seen you guys really pivot and adapt in a big way and up the game a lot. Like, not only were we increasing the volume, but we're really increasing that community leadership presence I've seen. Because I tend to follow all you guys. I'm like a little cyber stalker, and I watch, and I like your stuff, so I keep seeing it, and I'm seeing that. Like, I'm seeing a huge presence of leading and coming from contribution. So not only, Jake, are you helping the restaurants out by buying gift cards, but you're also then giving those to people in need so that food can get delivered to people at the same time. That's correct? You're muted, Jake. Let me unmute you. Do that again.
Get those gift cards out to people in need, a little bit down the road to allow the cash flow to help the businesses and, people that have been laid off. And we'll just start, we may try to work with a local organization to get those out, like Salvation Army or something.
Got it. Excellent. Excellent. Hey, back on that Easter egg hunt. Thank you, Jake. Back on that Easter egg hunt, Danny, are you able to talk right now? You don't have to if you can't, but if you can, explain how that Easter egg hunt's going and maybe the dynamics, since you guys are the inventors of that. If you are there, I know you were here somewhere, but if you're not, don't worry. I'm putting you on the spot, but I'll give you 5 seconds to unmute yourself, if you'll help.
Hey, Devin is here. I'm also.
You're the one we really want. You're the one that thought it up and
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes. Sorry, my screen is off. I'm having some video problems, but hopefully everybody can hear me okay.
Definitely.
So yeah, we went ahead and we're actually sending this out today to our one of our neighborhoods that we farm. But basically, I found this on a homeschool, I think, a blog, and I'm not a parent and I do not homeschool, but somehow it popped up on my feed, and they were actually doing a shamrock hunt for St. Patrick's Day. And we were planning on doing this Easter egg hunt for about a month now. And we were super bummed when we found out that we probably wouldn't be able to make it happen in a normal setting. So I was like, hey, why don't we just do an Easter egg hunt? This will be super easy and easy to kind of pivot. And so that's what we did. And basically we're just putting together little kits. We have some bags with our brand on them that we always try to give away because we have a ton of them. And we're going to be including just a regular printout of an egg so kids can color, and it'll keep them busy for a while in the morning at least. And then I think we decided that we're doing it the day before Easter. So since Easter, people will probably still be doing some things either with their immediate family or maybe watching church online or something. So we decided Saturday might be better, and it'll still give kids a lot of stuff to do that day and to focus on. Obviously to get outside as well. Hopefully the weather stays good for us here in Kansas City. But and then we're also going to be handing out instructions on what parents need to do with kids, as well as like our hashtag. We came up with I think it's Danny by our virtual Easter egg hunt. I think that's our hashtag. And obviously like our Facebook page, and make sure that when everything, like the picture of the egg is done and colored, they hang it up either in a door or a window of their the front of their home, so it's kind of easily seen by kids who are walking around doing the hunt. And then directions on how to color it, make sure that it's bright and all that type of stuff so it can be seen. And then we're also including a little kit as far as for for parents, they can say if they would want their kids to like have little plastic Easter eggs, because we already had bought those in preparation for our regular Easter egg hunt. So now we have to obviously give those away. So we're going to include those with like some candy in the bag as well. So it'll just be like a really fun way to shift our client event. We've done some client events in the past with this neighborhood and it's been super successful. So we really wanted to make sure we did something, but that still made sense with social distancing and all of that. So we're super excited. Obviously this is our first virtual type of event that we've had. So we're really eager to see how it goes, but yeah, it was a really easy thing to put together. It took like a few days and now we're kind of ready to go. So does that answer your question, Brian?
Well, that's perfect. That's perfect. Anybody else have any questions for her? That's something you could throw out there. Anybody have any questions for Devin about how she's doing that Easter egg hunt? I'm trying to think of, we just got word that we're kind of going to be on shelter in place orders nationally all the way through through April.
Sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. We are also including a coloring contest. So we've done this for client events in the past, whether it's for like Sweets with Santa, where we have kids do pictures with Santa or whatever. We have different age groups and they can pick based on their age a picture to color. And then we will like judge whoever did the best artwork basically. And that's how we give away prizes as well. So we're going to be doing like a coloring contest as well as a tally contest to see who found the most Easter eggs. So we're going to have parents be doing the tallying and then we'll just have them submit their tallies by the end of that Saturday that we're doing the hunt. And then we'll be giving away prizes there for kiddos as well as some like care packages for parents who are kind of at home with their kids. So that was another thing that I forgot to mention.
That's great. And yeah. I do want to add some, because I'm sure some of you are having questions like, how is she targeting these people, right? And I think this is really important that you understand that because there's two different ways we can target these types of communications. One is through your sphere of influence, right? So if we aren't friends with our sphere of influence on Facebook right now, you need to look in your CRM, look at everybody in your SOI and find them on Facebook and friend them. Like that's step one. Or if you have everybody on Facebook, we need to also get those friends into a CRM or even just a piece of paper, I don't care, an Excel spreadsheet, where we get all their contact information together so that we can then contact them via email and other means, right? Because those are two free ways to communicate with people, social media and email, right? And they're a way to get digital content out in a very, very big way. They're also very cheap, easy, fast, and effective ways. So if we haven't done that, those two things start, right? So I'm going to assume you guys have done that. And if not, that's what you should be doing. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you talk about not having, the ability to work right now. That is the first step, is let's get our databases and our action plans together. Now, you can also do this from a geographic farming standpoint, which oftentimes works very well because people are kind of ordered to stay at home most places. So what ends up happening is I don't know if you guys are doing it, but we definitely are. We walk around our neighborhood because you got to get outside and go crazy. You just see for the first time ever, you just see people all over your neighborhood, their kids, their families, their friends, all of them are out there and they're walking around. So it's all of a sudden, everybody's staying, 10 feet away and everything, but there is a lot more communication. So what ends up happening is we can actually market to that neighborhood or that school district, or if you're in a small enough town, the whole town. So there is a way to get their contact information. And quite frankly, it's never been cheaper. Some of you are familiar with Cole Information Services, and they've been around for a while. Now, Cole just got a lot cheaper, if you guys don't know. So you used to have to pay like $1,300 a year for Cole, and they'll give you, now it's down to $99 a month, 3 months at a time. And so that's a brand new thing. So $99 a month, you could literally join Cole for 3 months, export all the databases of the neighborhoods you need, put them into your CRM. And now you're going to have probably 50% of the email addresses for a given neighborhood, maybe 50 or 60%. This is probably a national average. It's different for everybody. Of the mobile phone numbers, you're going to have a lot of names and addresses, though. That you'll definitely have it for the mailers and things like that. So now you've got a database, and that database can go into your CRM, or it can be imported up into Facebook and you can retarget ads at them and post at them that way. A lot of people don't know how to do that. If you don't, just go onto Google and YouTube that. They'll show you how to do it. You can even hire people to do it. I don't think you need to. But we can actually now target and create a lot of these localized contests that way, where we can target neighborhoods through social media, through email, through all of these activities. So it's another way we can get outside the SOI, because with the Easter egg thing, I guess you could do it with your sphere of influence, but typically your sphere of influence lives all over town, you know? So it's hard to walk around all over town if town is big to count all the Easter eggs on people's doors. So you're gonna have to hit, like Devin is doing, a targeted, tight little neighborhood where they're all walking around all the time. So to do that, we just need to get the contact information for that town. Call information does it. Don't get all freaked out because you only get half the numbers. Again, that's more than we've ever had. I mean, I remember I see a few. I see Darren Kong on here. Darren remembers just having a manila folder, and he didn't have an internet when he started doing real estate. That's for sure. Darren's about 140 years old. He just looks young because, you know, he's Darren.
Appreciate that. It's love. Thank you.
You bet. I had to get my old friend on there. But yeah, so that's, but back in those days, I mean, we didn't have all this information. It's very easy to get a lot of numbers. So if we have half the email addresses, that's pretty good for a neighborhood of 500, 400 people. You know, that's 250 people we could be emailing and getting the word out and telling them to spread to their neighbors. So really good idea to add value and keep that community up, because that's going to be the key through this, is we're really going to have to rise up being community leaders. Amy, I saw you saw that. It's called Cole Information. Anissa, could you throw that in the notes? Cole Information Services. If you tell them you coach with us, we're just going to assume you all do. You do get a pretty significant discount. I think that's how you get the $99 a month thing. So say you coach with Icenhower Coaching, and you will get that. It's kind of the key to farming. If you're going to start farming geographic neighborhoods, you need to have a database of contact information for specific neighborhoods. And I know there's a lot of farmers on this call. It's a nice pillar of your business as well, too. So good stuff there, too. Anybody have any other thoughts and ideas out there?
Darren here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So first, I'd like to thank everybody for sharing so many great ideas with, content that we can provide to the clients. I tell you what, one of the things that we found has had an amazing return is simply checking in with your past clients, your SOI, your COI, what have you, and really just showing empathy, because people are so stressed out right now. They're so freaked out by all the bad news and everything that's happening. They really appreciate it when you just call and say, hey, I'm just checking to see how you're doing. Are you okay? How's your family? What can I do for you? Not how can I help you, but what can I do for you? And we're getting amazing response from that. People calling us back, even when we're leaving messages, they're calling back or texting back and saying, gee, we really appreciate that call. That means a lot for you to check in on us. It's so easy to do and it's so fast. And it's a great way to differentiate yourself, just to let you know, yeah, I'm here for you. I actually do care.
That's awesome, Darren. And you're totally right. And I kind of just slipped up on probably the most obvious thing. So thank you for pointing that out. I don't know if you guys I've had a couple people do that to me, like just reach out and just say, hey man, I'm just checking in on you. How's it going? And it feels really good. Even though there's no way they can really help me, it just felt good. Like, I don't know why right now that feels so good, but it does. So you're just spreading happiness by doing that. I mean, if you were just to go back and call even just all your past clients from last year and just check in and just say, hey, I just want to check in on you. You guys okay? I mean, I hope you like your shelter because you're stuck in it, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, and just saying and asking them, you know, how they're doing. If there's a way, what'd you say, Darren? You said, how can I help you? Or
what can I do for you?
What can I do for you?
What can I do for you?
That is great.
Simple. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, you talk about being of service right there and adding value. Right. It's real simple. And man, you are going to leave a good feeling with people that you're taking time and caring about others right now at a time where it's very easy to default to our natural concerns and just take care of ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. So I love that. I think that, I mean, that's first and foremost. Like if you got anything that you could do that's highly productive, it would be to pick up a telephone and call all of your past clients for the last 2 or 3 years and just do that and spread happiness and goodness into the universe right now. I think that would probably be the most productive thing you could do. I'm a moron for not bringing it up, but thank you, Darren. That is why you're here. So I appreciate it. So any other thoughts out there? Concerns? Questions? Hey, Paul, I see you there too, man. You're just kind of, you're not in the forefront like Darren.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
Hey, so one idea that I'm kicking myself for not thinking of first that somebody did, or some folks did I live in a small town as well, Kearney, Missouri. They had a cool car parade, drive, whatever, yesterday. And the mayor was in the Jeep that let it off. And there was 87 cars that drove through the majority of the neighborhoods in Kearney, all over the place. And I would say that over half the people were out in their front yard waving at everybody driving by. And
really?
Yeah. And so I'm kicking myself, first of all, for not having like a magnetic something or other to have on the side of my car that I drove around. So I could have had some crazy exposure. But also if somebody were to organize that, if they do live in a smaller town where maybe something like that, it was mind blowing. And then how the small town Facebook blew up afterwards. Cause they all have there's the different Facebook groups blew up with videos and everybody just being so grateful. And I saw like elderly people just sitting in their door, not even coming outside, waving, so excited to like see human beings again. Cause we forget they don't have kids at home that they have to homeschool. Like they're literally stuck by themselves. And it was probably like one of the coolest things I've done, in a really long time. And it would be cool if somebody organized that in their own hometown and then was able to use it for business as well.
That is pretty cool. And you're in an area where people are supposed to be staying in their houses too, right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody was out in their front yards, but they were following the social distancing rule. The mayor let it off. The Kearney PD and Highway Patrol helped block some of the roads. And it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, that's super cool. That is really,
it was organized by a local car club, but it could be organized by anybody that took the time to organize it. And it was awesome.
Very cool. I really like that one. Very cool. Thank you, Joe. Anybody else got one out there? Oh, someone said I heard honking yesterday. I was about to ask, Laura, do you live in Joe's town? Is that what's going on? No.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's Carrie Lukens.
Hey, Carrie.
How are you?
I'm very good. What you got for us?
Similar to what Joe was talking about, we have a lot of schools and that were coming off of spring break. So the teachers at the elementary schools got together and drove through the neighborhoods where they served the children, let the children's come out and wave to them as they went by, just so that they knew that they were, invested in their students still and couldn't wait to see them over the technology in the virtual classroom.
Very cool. That's very cool. I like that too, especially if you knew a teacher, that could actually put something like that together. So where you could be the organizer and kind of get the teachers together, because that is very true right now. There's kind of a weird time where kids are disconnected from their teachers, that they spent the first half of the year with, and now they're pretty much done, So I think that's a cool one, and that reminds me of something, Carrie. I saw this video. I don't know if anybody else saw it or not on YouTube. I thought this was really cool. Someone, I don't know who organized it, had a whole bunch of people in cars drive to a local hospital and point their cars at the hospital and just started honking and flashing their lights at the hospital. And everybody out there is just applauding all the healthcare workers. It gave me goosebumps. You know what I'm saying? Because all these healthcare workers, I think it was somewhere in New York. I don't think it was New York City, but it was somewhere in New York where they coordinated this event because these hospital workers, I don't know if you guys know one, I do know a few, and man, they are beat up right now, man. They're coming home from hospital scared. They're worried they're catching this thing. There's just all kinds of stress in their work environments, and they're all working large shifts without enough supplies and whatnot. So they're beat up, right? So to have the entire public or all these cars come up and just kind of give them like a vehicle applause from outside the hospital was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I hope it didn't scare anybody. Like, I hope everybody got what was happening. That was the one part I was like, do they know, or do they think they're going to be attacked or what? But it did seem like they were clapping. They were just all applauding. They were just honking horns and flashing lights at the hospital. I thought that was a cool thing. No clue who organized it. But that's kind of what we've become as community organizers, community leaders. So we're looking for more creative ways, which is why we're going to do this a lot. We're going to keep coming back every couple weeks and getting you guys together so that so that you guys can add more value. So what is this I see? Laura, you said Classroom Dojo has been great. What is that? I'm of interest.
It's the thing that teachers use on their phones. Like you can have be connected to your classroom, so each of the parents can have active communication with the teachers. So it gives them a way to be able to give them content during this time and kind of let them know this is something you could be doing with your child. There's so many different things out there right now that are offering free websites like iExcel, so they're sharing that kind of thing. Like there's iExcel and there's Lexia that is like a reading program. So there's a lot of different things the teachers are sharing. There's another thing too that you reminded me of, talking about driving by the hospitals. People are making signs right now and thanking healthcare providers and posting those out. Also chalk on the sidewalk. They had like one day in, you know how they have the Nextdoor kind of website? So they did this Nextdoor thing where they had everybody go out and on their driveway, like put a really nice message on there or write something on there.
That's cool. Like you could do an art contest on Nextdoor. Don't forget about Nextdoor too. If there's not one for your community, start one for your community. If there is one for your community, get in it and start. And that's a great one, Laura. I love that. Like a sidewalk art contest or a street art contest.
Yes, and there's pathways where you can walk, and everybody's walking their dog and getting all the exercise right now. So on that, you can go and take the chalk and like make kind of cool messages during this time too.
Yeah, you could go on Amazon.com and have a bunch of chalk delivered to your house, give out chalk to people, put your business card on it, leave it on doorsteps, stuff like that. I don't know if you get that at grocery stores or what, but get your hand on it, you could help them out with that. So you could be the organizer. I think that's a pretty cool one right there. That's another one we go after a geographic neighborhood that way that I think is pretty cool. Also, if you could, Laura, if you could put some of those education apps in the notes. If I were you, I'd be sharing those, right? I'd be saying, hey, teacher friends, hey, hey, moms and dads out there. These are some great apps. Like teachers, this is something you could stay in contact with your students. Maybe the ones that are just for parents. These are some great apps that you can help, keep your kids occupied right now so they don't drive you up a wall. Sorry, I'm venting. But that's the idea, so getting that stuff out there and sharing that stuff with people, I think is absolutely amazing. So that was some good stuff right there. So anybody have anything else they want to throw out there? Thank you. I see you throwing those. There's Lexia and iExcel. Thank you, Laura. Those are in the notes.
Brian, I had an agent actually. I'm on his CRM, I guess, and he sent me an email, a video email with a market update of how the market is performing right now and why it's a good time to buy in this market. So he shared some statistics, and I found it pretty helpful. It was just a short 5-10 minute video, but he sent it out to everyone just to kind of get a conversation started. Do you have any tips on what I should kind of research in the market now to send out to my CRM, just to keep them informed of what's happening in the real estate market?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really, really good question. And other people can weigh in too. I think you got to be, first thing I want to say is we got to stay appropriate though. Like I do think there's a fine line we walk right now on asking for business at this time. And I'm always the guy that'll say ask for business. Right now is weird though. You know what I mean? So you start saying, hey, now's a good time to buy or sell. That may rub some people the wrong way, but it doesn't mean you can't prove it to them and tell them that. You know what I'm saying? But I might slow down and just say, maybe repackage it a little bit by saying something like, hey, just some good news in an otherwise, scary world. And then we talk about how many, look in your local MLS about how many closings there were, how many contracts were written. Those are things that you can search through MLS stats and say, hey, we had more contracts written this month than last month, or this month than this month last year. So year over year, we're up in spite of everything. Our average home price is up this month to last month, or this month in March compared to March of 2019. So I'd be looking at month over month, March to February. I'd also look, year to date, this first quarter versus the first quarter last year. Or you could look at March 2020 compared against March 2019. And I would look at things like contracts written, average sales price, number of homes closed. Your number of homes closed should still be a pretty positive number because we're still in March. Like, most people still went ahead and closed when this thing started happening. And quite frankly, we had most of the country had an extraordinarily hot first quarter compared to last year's first quarter, which was a lot slower. So your numbers are going to look really positive and spread a little bit more sunshine this year compared to last. I think most of your Marches are going to look good compared to last March for your local MLSs. I know that's really true in California and a lot of the other areas that so getting that out there, I think, is good. And I think you just kind of package it like you're spreading sunshine, like here's some good news. The other thing I might say is we need listings, because a lot of people are logically spooked and don't want to sell their home until after this is over. And right now, if you're in an area where, and you have the technology to, virtually show property, which a lot of people are doing, there's a low inventory. And I'll tell you right now, if you don't believe me, think of this. Think about your median home price in your town, in your city. Just imagine what the median home price is. Now imagine if you put that house at the median home price up for sale. What typically would happen would be like an economic version of taking raw meat and throwing it in a piranha tank. You're going to have lots of offers drive that price up, and that's what we're seeing. So literally, if you are comfortable, now mind you, everybody's got to be comfortable. It's got to be permitted in your area. Most areas it is, though. I mean, we are deemed essential nationwide. There are certain areas where you have to shelter in place, where the local restrictions are bigger than the federal government's, but there's nothing saying you can't work. I'm yet to see that yet. You just can't be face to face. You need to just shelter in place. So if you put that listing up and you have tech savvy agents that can drive that price up and make showing subject to or offers subject to, it's happening and it's working because there's very little competition right now. The buyers right now are extremely serious, high quality buyers. It's kind of like winter buyers. It's not much different. Winter buyers are typically stronger because winter buyers have to buy. Typically, they're coming out of a house. So, I do think that, we need listings because we have historically low inventory nationwide. I mean, we've never had inventory this low. There's no doubt about it. So, and when you have high buyer demand with people moving out of the stock market into real estate for a safe haven, from an economic standpoint, so long as everybody's comfortable with it, it couldn't be better time to list your property. There's no doubt about that. And I think everybody, even the NAR economist, I think his name's Lawrence Yoon, he came out and said it too. I mean, inventory is radically low, and when he goes in the market, it's getting gobbled up, which means prices are set to skyrocket this year because of that ridiculously low supply and the heaviest demand we've ever had coming into this thing. Yeah, some of the demand's going to go away with the economic fallout, but I mean, the demand was unreal coming into this. So I don't think it makes a difference. I think our prices keep skyrocketing, if not go faster than before. And most economists are predicting that housing values will continue to go up. And that's important to understand because a lot of people have a wrong head around that. They think that there's going to be less real estate transactions, and I agree, there will be. Sales volume will go down. That's one real estate market. Sales volume will go down, but prices can go up when sales volume goes down. If you don't believe me, just think about a neighborhood. You might not have a sale in there, but then one house comes up for sale in a period of 6 months. It's priced high. 20 people go after it. It sells high. Prices go up, but it's the only sale that year in that neighborhood. Well, you just drove up prices with very little sales volume. So we are competing for set sales volume and set commissions, but prices will go up. And that's what most people are predicting to happen. We're going to have reduced sales volume because of the economic uncertainty and people wanting to wait till this is over, but prices will still go up. So those people that are comfortable with it, they can do it. I just be careful, Sid, on pushing too hard. That would be the one thing. I wouldn't want to be the person out there. There's a lot of optics right now, and you got to watch your optics. You're out there pushing people too hard when they're uncomfortable by asking for business too much. I think you need to be appropriate and delicate. But I do believe, like most economists, that we're going to have price increases, which means it's a good time to list. That makes sense. So any other thoughts out there, questions before I let you guys loose? Well, guys, thank you for this, taking part in this town hall / happy hour. We might rename them as happy hours. It's hard to do happy hours in the morning or midday though. So thank you. There will be a recording of this somewhere. We are going to post in the Real Estate Agent Roundtable Facebook group. We're gonna post a lot of ways for you to get a hold of us. How to subscribe to our email newsletters so you can get all our daily videos, because we're sending out videos on the daily right now on this stuff right now. How to reach our coaches if you want to do a free coaching consultation at this time. And we'll share in Facebook Live all of our notes from this too. So we have been taking notes, and we're going to share all those notes in the Real Estate Agent Roundtable Facebook group for you guys if you want to get a copy of these as well too. Those will be in there. So guys, thank you guys so much. I appreciate all your time putting up with me, and keep it coming. We'll be back here. So keep an eye out for the next one. All right. Thanks guys.